All right, let's dive into one of the most incredible and honestly kind of fragmented epics out there, the Silver Moon Saga. We're talking fallen gods, ancient monsters, sacrifices that seem absolutely impossible. And we're going to try and unravel this whole thing, piece by piece, to get to the core of this amazing story.
The whole saga just throws you right into the deep end. It starts with this incredibly somber, dramatic line. We see this lone figure, Varric, just sitting on this massive throne. He's in this burning void, bleeding dark light, surrounded by shadows. And his first words? A soft laugh, followed by this admission of finality. It just grabs you, right? You're immediately hit with this sense of dread and so many questions, like who is this guy? And why does this end feel like such a huge deal?
But then, just when you think you've got the vibe figured out, that this is the end, the whole thing flips on its head. Barak looks up, right into the shadows, and you realize there's something massive there. He says, "I'm not alone, someone will come," and boom, just like that, it's not an ending anymore. It's a prelude. It's a promise. That one line just changes absolutely everything. Okay, so to make sense of this whole epic journey, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with Varric, the fallen god, and his supposed end. Then we'll get into a monster's true sacrifice. After that, we'll see a new sort of hope rise up, witness the birth of the Silver Moon, and finally we'll look at the unsettled legacy left behind.
All right, Section 1, the fallen god's end. So, who is this guy, Varric? We're calling him a monster, but what's the real story? We first meet him on that throne, right at what looks like the very end. But here's the thing. To really get what his end means, you first have to understand the legend of the monster he built himself into.
And this exchange, this is everything. It sets up the whole conflict perfectly. You have this formless cosmic evil called the Darkness, and it straight up tells Vark, "You are evil." But Vark's comeback? It's not a denial. It's a challenge. It tells you right away that he's not just some mindless powerhouse. He's defiant. And maybe, just maybe, he knows something that this all-powerful darkness doesn't. So the story then shows us exactly why he's got this reputation. And it starts with worlds burning. I mean, just entire worlds set on fire. The scale is just, it's hard to even wrap your head around. And it's not just destruction. His power is absolute. You see, demon kings, we're talking rulers of entire demonic realms, unbelievably powerful beings in their own right, and they are all on their knees before him. And his reach, it seems limitless. He's not just messing with mortal worlds or demonic planes. No, he goes all the way up and shatters the actual gates of celestial realms. Literally nothing and nobody in the entire cosmos was safe. So yeah, that's the legend of Varric in a nutshell. A conqueror of worlds, slayer of kings, a guy who breaks into heaven. And, maybe most importantly, he's the one and only thing that this ultimate cosmic evil, the darkness, is genuinely afraid of. He truly is the final monster. And this quote, this one really gets to the heart of it. This wasn't some random rampage. His entire monstrous identity, it was a choice, a deliberate act. He looked at the world, saw that it wanted monsters, so he decided he would be the last one it ever needed. But you gotta ask yourself, why? Why would anyone choose that? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Just when you've settled in and accepted Varric as the big bad, the story hits you with this moment of defiance that completely reframes everything you thought you knew about him. We jump back in time to some forgotten place. You've got these ancient, crazy powerful beings who are about to just obliterate this mysterious little kid. And who steps in to stop them? It's Varric. The same guy, the world burner, the so-called monster, standing there, ready to die to protect this one, single, completely unknown child. It makes no sense, right? He fights this insane battle for her. He gets horribly wounded, but he wins. He uses every last drop of his power to seal her away in this hidden world, just so she'll be safe. And his last words to her, he whispers, "Live. Forget me." I mean, come on. That's not a monster. That's a guardian. That's a sacrifice on a level that's just profound. So Varric's gone. And with him gone, there's this massive power vacuum. The world he literally died to protect is now completely vulnerable. So now the story shifts. We're looking at a new generation, new heroes who have to step up and face that darkness that's been waiting in the wings.
So who are these new heroes? First up, we've got Caravel. This guy is basically a living weapon. He's been fighting this war for, well, forever. He's the last piece of a forgotten age. Then we get a little glimmer of hope with this new guy, Thalos, who finds a legendary god-killing sword. Things are looking up. Or not. Because Thalos gets captured almost immediately, leaving old Caravel to face this massive threat all by himself. Talk about a desperate situation. The stage is definitely set for a last stand.
And you just gotta love this line from Caravel. It really gives you a sense of his scale, you know? He's not just old. He's basically a primordial force. He's been fighting this war since before things even had names. Think about that. That's how long he's been at this. And all of this, it brings us to the huge climax of this first part of the saga. Every single thread we've been following, that kid Varric saved, the ancient warrior, the hero who got captured, even Varric himself, they're all about to crash into each other in one massive, world-changing fight. So the battle's raging, and it looks like it's all over. And then, at the absolute darkest moment, the child, the one Varric saved, who's now a young girl, her power just awakens. And it is incredible. She resurrects all the fallen warriors right there on the battlefield, wrapping them in this shining silver armor. Her line is just perfect. You broke them, so I gave them back. And right there, that's the birth of the Knights of the Silver Moon. So cool. But even with this new army, it's just not enough. The darkness is just too powerful. And that's when we cut back to Varric, in some hidden corner of the void. He has to make his final choice. He gets offered this cursed sword, right? It'll give him the power he needs to win, but the price is his life. It will literally consume him. And he just looks at his allies, at this future he fought so hard to protect, gives this little smile, and just says, worth it. And it works. Varric's sacrifice actually works. The darkness is gone. In the quiet aftermath, Caravel, who's also on the brink of death, does something amazing. He transforms his own essence into a suit of living armor for the girl, vowing to protect her forever. So you see how the legacies of these old heroes are literally passed down to become the foundation for this new hope. But you know, a story like this doesn't just end with a happily ever after. Nope. The future might be safe for now, but it is a long way from being safe. This last part introduces some new players and really hints that this whole cycle of power and danger, it's not over. Not by a long shot.
So years go by, Caraval finds another child, a baby named Ashran, and right away a mystical phoenix gives him a warning. This kid has both good and evil inside him. Uh-oh. As Ashran grows up, his power is, well, it's terrifying. He can literally split the sky just by waving his hand. And then, out of nowhere, this mysterious man shows up with a sword fused right into his body and says his only mission is to be Ashran's guardian.
And this really gets to the core question for the next part of the saga, doesn't it? Think about it. Varric was a protector who had to look like a monster. Cadgervel is a protector who is literally a living weapon. And now you have this kid with world-breaking power and this terrifying new guardian. It really makes you ask the question, who's going to protect us from our protectors?
And that's where we're left, with this absolutely chilling line from this nameless guardian to the boy, Ashran. He tells him he's there to protect him from what he might become. He's not guarding him from outside threats, but from the power inside himself. It's just this powerful, hanging question mark that leaves you wondering about the nature of power, of protection, and of destiny itself. What a way to end it.